Hello and welcome to today's video. I am so excited. I am the biggest culprit of having a subscription and then not using it. So this week we are going to be getting everything we can out of my Kindle Unlimited subscription and seeing if I should keep it. Is it worth the $10 every month? I do see some great books on here, but I often prioritize the books that I already have on my shelf. But this week we will be indulging in some Kindle reading. I've got my pumpkin spice coffee here and a maple cinnamon scone. So we are ready for all the fall vibes. Maybe we'll read some spooky books this week. We'll see what Kindle Unlimited has. I have some books already saved on here that I've been wanting to read. Let's just talk about those. One that I'm currently in the middle of that I started on my trip in Spain because I didn't have any books with me is The Sandwich by Newman. So I may be continuing that one a little bit this week. I also really want to read The Song of Achilles, which is also on Kindle Unlimited, and I own the physical copy, so it'll be like two birds with one stone, and it's also on my September TBR, so I think we have to get to this one at some point this week. Surprisingly, they also have Days at the Morisaki Bookshop, which I've really been wanting to read, and I feel like it's perfect for the cozy season because I've heard it's very heartwarming. When I think of Kindle Unlimited, for some reason, my mind goes to only having bad books, but you can be surprised. Like sometimes there's super great books on here. I would not expect Days at the Morisaki Bookshop to be on here, but alas. I've also saved a couple horror books for the fall. So we have The Eyes Are the Best Part. We have The Lamb, which I think is a gothic horror fairy tale, which I think could be really fun. Oh, The Lamb. It's $1.99. Technically, it's not Kindle Unlimited, so I'm gonna have to save that one. But there's also a couple romances that I have been wanting to read for a while. We have One True Loves by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This is one of her older books. I've read all the rest of her older books and I actually really love them. I've heard people say that they're not their favorite, but there's something about them I really, really love. So there's also Before We Were Strangers, which I remember years ago people were talking about this book and I never got to it, but it's free with my subscription, so possibly we will get to that one. Quite a good mix of books to start with. I'll probably also scroll through them throughout the week and see what else we can find. Oh, and I know this is a silly book. I've never read it, but I'm assuming it's a silly book. But there's also The Pumpkin Spice Café. I know lots of people have read that one, and I think the author has a new fall one out for this fall, so we might have to just dabble in that a little bit. I feel like it's a super guilty pleasure read. Not that you should have any guilt about what you're reading, but you know what I mean. I am so excited. We have so many books to jump into. I was gonna say I should read The Song of Achilles first because it's on my TBR, but I think I might read The Pumpkin Spice Cafe. This coffee is making me want to read it. Change my mind. I'm gonna start with Days at the Morisaki Bookshop because I think it'll be still a nice, very cozy, heartwarming read. And then as it gets later into fall, then we can dive into those cheesy fall books. But we'll start with Days at the Morisaki Bookshop. I am so excited. Let's get reading. It has only been a little while. I'm already 40% through the Morisaki Bookshop and it is so sweet so far. It is definitely a book for book lovers. Like, it is made for book lovers. And if you don't love books, I think it'll make you a reader. It's so cute so far. It is following Takako, who goes through a hard breakup. She loses her job and she gets a call from her uncle who offers for her to stay at his bookshop and stay there for free and just help out a little bit around the bookstore. Growing up, she loved this uncle. She thought he was so fun and funny, but then as she grew into being a teenager, she was pretty put off by him and his kind of a wishy-washy personality, and everyone in the family kind of saw him as not having a straight plan and not really knowing what he wants to do and not going into a more serious job. But he took over the family bookshop. So she moves in with him and she doesn't read, but as time goes on, she falls in love with reading, just as everyone else who comes into the bookshop is. She meets a lot of people that are in that little neighborhood. Also, the neighborhood is one that I would love to go to. It is just all used bookstores, and the Morisaki bookshop is a used bookstore as well. And they do have some issues with money and making enough money from these used books. They bring up the fact that people are often going to buy new books and going to the department stores to buy books, and also that young people aren't reading as much. So that is in the conversation as well. A lot of the conversation in the book is surrounded around how one chooses to live their life, and a lot of it is to do with the uncle, because he did choose the path that his family wasn't super proud of, I guess you could say. So we get into the conversation of that and his inner thoughts, and he talks a lot to Takako about that and his journey. And yeah, so far we're kind of seeing how she is growing as a person in this space. And there's also some really great quotes in there that are so heartwarming. So far, I'm loving it. Would love to go and stay at that bookshop for a little while. I think that I benefit from that. It's also really atmospheric, the way that they explain the town and the coffee shops that she goes to, and the coffee shops that her uncle is a regular at, and all the different workers at the coffee shops she's becoming friends with. And they also come to the bookshop and they're all regulars at the bookshop. So it's very sweet and very heartwarming, and I'm really excited to keep reading it. I definitely will finish it today. It is a cute little read. I'm enjoying it a lot. I feel so cozy today. I was reading it and I was falling asleep because I just have my pumpkin spice. I have my book. All I've done today is go to the farmer's market, go to Whole Foods for our Sunday grocery shop, and read Morisaki bookshop. Literally could not be any more perfect than that. So I'm gonna keep reading. This is feeling like a 4-star. I think it's feeling like a 4-star. I'm about to leave to work, but I thought I should do a quick little update because a lot has been read since we last chat, honestly. I feel like reading on my Kindle has been making me read so much faster because I just pick it up at any moment that I have a second to relax. I just pick up the Kindle and I read it. I can read when I'm eating. I can read when I'm traveling in the car. By traveling, I mean like going to work, like not that far. Also, I'm not driving. Okay, so first, let's talk about Days at the Morisaki Bookshop. I finished that last night before I went to bed, and then I started the Song of Achilles. But the Morisaki Bookshop, the second half was quite a bit different than the first half was. It was more focused on Nakako's uncle and aunt's stories rather than her own, which I found still interesting, but it didn't quite do it for me as much as the first half was. I really enjoyed the first half. I still enjoyed the second half and the characters that we were following during it, but it was just quite a bit different. I was not expecting it at all, to be honest. It was just like a switch flipped and the storyline changed quite a bit. And it was a really short book. It was 150 pages, I believe, or somewhere around there. So to have first and second half so drastically different, I just wish I got more time in that first half, in that section where she was just spending her days in the bookshop, meeting more people and figuring out what lights her up. I loved that part of it. So I think overall I landed on about a 3.75 stars. I really enjoyed it. I would recommend it to anyone who loves books and loves reading about books and having a cozy atmosphere, and then also someone who enjoys books that have some underlying messaging through different quotes and just really heartwarming pieces in the book. I think you would really enjoy Days in the Morisaki Bookshop. But I have since started, last night right before I went to bed, I read like one chapter of Song of Achilles, and then I continued it today, and I am now on I'm 29% of the way through. So I have been whipping through these with the Kindle. I've actually been loving it, but I'm 29% of the way through. Maybe after work today I can get to 50%. And I'm kind of obsessed with it. I'm really obsessed with the relationship growing in this book. It is just so heartwarming. I feel like that's the theme for both of the books that I've been reading. It's been so heartwarming, but there's also so many adventures in this book. I wasn't expecting that. I never read the back of it, and the back actually gives so much away, so I don't want to share too much. I'm surprised by how much they share on the back of this book, because a lot of it I've just been uncovering as I've been reading, and I wonder how different it would have been if I knew that all those things were going to happen. I feel like it gives so much away. Like, you know, a movie trailer that you feel like you've just watched the whole entire movie? Like, what's the point of watching it? That's kind of the vibe on the back. It follows Patroclus, and he is this small, timid boy. I think he is 9 years old when the book starts, and his dad is just really not proud of him at all. They were hoping to have a prince who was really strong and cunning, and it's just not him, but he's just such a kind, nice boy who is not treated very well. And something happens and he gets exiled from his kingdom, and he goes to another kingdom, a legendary king, and this king kind of brings in boys who have been exiled and trains them and takes them in as his own, and I think he wants them to be part of his army is what he's getting out of it. But anyways, he goes there and he meets Achilles, which he has met before in the past, and I keep forgetting that they're so young. Like, for a lot of this book so far, they've been like 9, 10, 11, 12, so young, they're literally children. But he meets Achilles and they become really great friends, and he's kind of the only person that Patroclus is able to talk to and confide in and really relax around. And Achilles is half god and half mortal because his mom is a goddess, a sea goddess. And his mom really hates Patroclus and doesn't like them being friends and doesn't like their relationship. So she sends Achilles away, and Patroclus follows him, of course. I think he's only like 12 at this point, and they get trained together. That is all I want to say. The back says more, but I'm at the point basically where they're getting trained together and their relationship's growing and they're getting older. And I think it's just so sweet so far. I think there is quite high stakes because of the sea goddess, because of Achilles' mom, who is really against their relationship and wants to get rid of Patroclus. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. Patroclus? And she also wants Achilles to be a god. And Achilles doesn't really know if that's what he wants, but it's really cute seeing this relationship unfold, especially because they're so young. I think I'm at the point that they're 16 now. We're gonna see what's gonna happen. It sounds like things are gonna get a little bit more high stakes, but I'm really impressed by all the little adventure bits and then also all the tidbits of different stories. I can't wait to keep reading tonight. It is very addicting. I don't know why I was really hesitant to go into it, but it's been like so engaging and so addicting to read. I'm gonna go to work now, and then unfortunately, and then I will come home and read some more. I'm feeling very motivated to keep reading because of how fast I'm able to go through it on the Kindle. So I'm excited to see how many books we're gonna get through this week. Good morning. It is Wednesday and I am 51% through Song of Achilles. And I feel like this is an unpopular opinion, but now that I'm really in the meat of the story, I'm finding myself getting kind of bored. The storyline is ramping up, there's higher stakes, and there's so much going on, but I am just not in it as much anymore. So I don't know if it's just a case of mid-book slump or if I'm really just not engaging with the book anymore, but we will see. I'm hoping that it gets a little bit better for me as the book goes on. Yeah, I'm finding myself just kind of going through the pages, not really engaged with the story. My theory for why that may be happening for me is that the relationship got together so fast in the beginning, and I think if that was spread out throughout more of the book, maybe that would keep a little bit more of an intrigue up. But I'm still enjoying it. I still want to see where it's going, but it is just not that obsessed feeling that I was feeling near the quarter-way mark. I will keep reading today and then hopefully finish it tomorrow and start our next book. And I'm thinking we're gonna do a little bit of a guilty pleasure read. I'm thinking so. I've also been looking on Kindle Unlimited for the next read, and there's been some other ones that have popped up. I'm just surprised by the selection, honestly. I don't think I've really given it enough of a chance in the past because I usually prioritize the books I have. So then my subscription just goes to the side, which makes sense. I feel like that's what you should do, but it's been fun getting to just read from my Kindle this week. So after I finish this, we can discuss the next book option. Also, yes, I've been obsessed with this mug. I got it this week and I'm just obsessed with it. Just one more chapter. Okay, we are in dire need of an update. It has been quite a few days since I finished the Song of Achilles, and luckily for me, it did end up being a little bit of mid-book slump, and then when we got to about 65-70% of the way through, I did feel more engaged with the story. I think it was just when they were setting up for the war, and at the beginning of it, when it was taking a long time, that's where the disconnect happened. But then once the war ramped up and the storyline ramped up even more, I did end up enjoying it again. Still not as much as I did in the very beginning, but I did enjoy following along and I like how it ended. It reminded me a lot of first year of university because I was a humanities major and we never read the Iliad, but we did read the Odyssey. So I never got that storyline of the Iliad, but seeing some crossovers of the characters was fun and it was reminding me a little bit of reading for school. But overall, I did enjoy it. I think I'm going to give it a 3.5 stars. I really liked it, but it wasn't a favorite of mine. I don't think I would come back to it and read it again. And it wouldn't be the first thing on my mind when giving a recommendation, but I did enjoy it. And then I moved over to Before We Were Strangers. I am actually almost finished it now. I have been just flying through this book. It is a contemporary romance, which isn't usually the genre I go to, but I was kind of feeling like having a little bit of a fast-paced read. It follows two characters, Grace and Matt, and it starts in the present timeline. And I believe Matt is about 36 years old. I also really enjoy following characters that are around that age because I feel like we always see quite young characters, especially in contemporary romances. But it shows in the present timeline and then it flashes back to when Matt and Grace met when they were younger and when they fell in love while going to NYU. She was a cello player at the school and then he was a photographer, and we got to see them fall in love. And then present timeline, they meet again. They're kind of the ones that got away for each other. I was really excited to see that we got the past timeline, but I was a little bit frustrated on how long it went on for. It wasn't flipping back and forth between past and present. It was just the past for so long. And I feel like about second chance romances, I really love the present. I love seeing the present moment, finding out about the lost years in between and what kind of happened. But we are finally back in the present moment and I'm really enjoying it. Some crazy things are happening. We're getting some plot twists that I was not expecting. I don't read a lot of contemporary romance, so I feel like I'm still in the stage with it where everything's shocking me. It's not too repetitive yet. That's why I don't want to read too much of them, because I want to keep that feeling when I do read them. So I'm going to keep reading this, and I'm definitely going to finish today. It is Sunday now, so it's been a week since we started this video. I will finish it today and then get back to you with the final thoughts. Okay, I have officially finished Before We Were Strangers, and I really loved it. I really enjoyed the ending. I enjoyed the second half a lot more than the first because I am a sucker for the reunion. I'm a sucker for seeing the couple rekindle, and this definitely did not disappoint. I love a second chance romance when it's done well. There's just something about seeing all the time passed in between them that they have not necessarily wasted, but it will get me every single time. Like, my heart hurts when I read those stories, but not in a bad way. Oh, it's Ladybug. Huge Ladybug. But anyways, not in a bad way. For some reason, I was getting bored during the first half when it was them in the past falling in love. I was looking at reviews and it seemed like most people felt the opposite, or at least the reviews that I saw, they were saying that they enjoyed that first half the best. So I guess it's definitely just up to you and your preference. I think that's what's really cool about reading, is that we all have such different experiences, but I like seeing them in adulthood. I loved seeing them in the late 30s and seeing how different they are, but also the same as they were when they were younger. And that's usually my favorite part of a second chance romance, is seeing them in adulthood. But overall, I think I'm going to rate this one a 3.5 again. All the readings have been super similar in this video. They were all very great books. I really enjoyed all of them. None of them were complete standouts for me. But in terms of my Kindle Unlimited subscription, I think I'm gonna keep it for a little bit longer. I don't know if it's necessary for me to keep it forever, because I feel like the books don't change that much. And once you've read all the ones that you want to read, then what are you really getting out of the subscription at that point? So I honestly feel like I'm close to that point where I've read everything that I wanted to read on Kindle, but now that I want to read more contemporary romance, I may keep it because I know that Kindle Unlimited has a lot of contemporary romances on there. So I think I will keep it for the time being. This has honestly reignited my love for my Kindle. I think I'll be using it to read a lot more now. It's just so convenient. I kind of forgot how convenient it is reading in bed, reading on the go. It's just awesome. I'm kind of getting addicted to it. And also, I started looking at the Kindle Daily Deals, and you can get some really good books for $1.99. And that may be the route that I go in the future. Instead of having a subscription, once I've read all the ones that I want to read in Kindle Unlimited, I may just stick to checking the daily deal. Since I don't read a ton of books on here a month, I don't read a ton of Kindle Unlimited books, so the $10 may not be worth it, and the $1.99 every once in a while would be a better decision for me. So the verdict is I'm keeping it for now. Probably not forever, but I will keep it for now. And now I'm reminded to use it. Thank you so much for coming along with me. It was so much fun reading all of these books on my Kindle, and I hope to see you soon in my next video. I cannot wait. Bye.